I'm Prof Quinot and I'm a professor in the Department of Public Law. I previously held a teaching fellowship at the university as well as in the National Teaching Advancement at Universities Fellowship Program. At the 2019 SoTL conference, I want to focus on a collaborative paradigm of teaching and learning. And I want to ask, what is the relationship between the you and the our when we say your teaching matters? My aim is to link the individual teaching practice with that of a community of practice via the African notion of uBuntu, asking whether such a collaborative paradigm is perhaps more appropriate for a university with a vision of becoming Africa's leading research-intensive university. At a theoretical level, I want to explore such a collaborative paradigm of teaching based on African values with existing teaching learning theories such as social constructivism, cooperative versus collaborative learning, and an ethics and pedagogy of care. And I want to ask whether such a collaborative paradigm is perhaps more appropriate in our context than a highly individualistic one that is typical of a traditional liberal conception of the university. I also want to explore the role of identities within a collaborative paradigm of teaching. I want to look at all these themes across a number of dimensions of teaching. Looking at outcomes, I want to ask whether we necessarily need to formulate outcomes in individual terms, or whether it's possible to formulate outcomes more collaboratively. In curriculum, I want to ask whether the notion of studying a distinct field within a distinct module and distinct programs by an individual student can necessarily yield the collaborative learning outcomes. In pedagogy, I want to ask whether our paradigm in designing teaching activities is on the individual student and engaging and developing the individual student's capacities. And perhaps most challenging, I want to ask whether in assessment there is a more collaborative way of approaching it. Or are we necessarily limited to assessing the individual student and his or her efforts and development? These are some of the themes that I hope to explore at the conference, and I hope that the conference itself will become a collaborative effort around teaching at our university.